Hello. I am going to try to quickly summarize the redefining digital literacy in your teaching context assignment. I'm going to start with the written assignment, and I'm going to briefly go through each of the parts and then talk about the lesson plan. So the very first part is in the written piece was really about my current understanding of digital literacy. One of the things that I've struggled with all along is really trying to concisely define digital literacy. So for me, it's a little easier to think about the skills that our students need if they are digitally literate. And so in that first part, I outline what those skills are. Things like being able to navigate the online world safely and responsibly, recognizing real information versus false information, recognizing sort of the dark side of the online world, racism and bullying, and some of the um, hatred and things like that that are very real, but also understanding the power of connecting with people from all over the world from with different perspectives and being able to shape what that looks like and collaborate. So understanding both the negative and some of the positives. Our literate students also need to be able to consume a lot of information and synthesize that information and then use it to create new ideas in a variety of ways and use different tools and applications and videos and presentations to be able to share knowledge. That's definitely some of the skills that our digitally literate students need. And then finally, they need to be savvy and quick to evolve as they move forward. And as I've really thought about what I've learned over this course, uh, the piece is that these things are not natural, and our students are not going to learn them on our own. If we aren't explicitly teaching these skills, or somebody isn't explicitly teaching these skills, they are not going to develop these skills. So it's really important that we are intentional about teaching those. And that's why the lesson that I selected, that I'll go over in a little bit, is so near and dear to that because it's about intentionally teaching some of these skills. The next piece was give me an opportunity to reflect on the assignments from the whole course, which is honestly not something I've really done before. And it was very interesting to me that although it was unintentional and I wasn't looking for themes and continuity as I was creating the assignments over the last 8 weeks, those there were was definitely some themes and some commonality that kind of went through. As I looked at the autoethnography assignment, I talked about all of the different phases I've had in my career and some of the things that I've done around educational technology. And one of the underlying pieces is that in each of those layers, when I was a teacher, when I was an administrator, and now as a central office leader, there was some intentionality in the things that I was doing to try to move forward educational technology. I didn't recognize it as intentionality, but as I've reflected, that's really what I'm seeing. In the memo, I was able to um, during the interview when Michelle Snyder and I worked together, we were able to identify so many of the strengths that our district has. We are very fortunate. We have a lot of both human resources, physical resources, technology resources, but what we don't have is intentionality around digital literacy. We don't have a curriculum in place that kind of helps us move forward, and that's something that we know we need to put into place. And then finally, for the conference presentation, Michelle and I actually were focusing on that intentionality, making sure that we're intentionally teaching digital literacy skills because our presentation was about how we have this misconception that digital natives are digitally literate, and they aren't. They absolutely aren't. And if we're not intentional about teaching those things, they will not become digitally literate. The final part was about moving forward, and this part was really exciting for me and actually pretty easy because in the memo, the kind of the proposal that we set forth is something that we really want to do. I'm fortunate to be in a leadership role in my district, and Michelle is fortunate to be a teacher leader within the district. And so, in that last part, we kind of outline, or I outline, what I'd like to do as we move into next year. I would really like to create a team of teachers, have them do some research, get some feedback from our stakeholders, attend McCall, get to be able to collaborate with other instructional leaders who are working on digital literacy, and then create a curriculum and a scope and sequence that we can implement the following year. So, definitely something that I'd like to do that we've been able to bring up as I've worked through this assignment or these assignments. And then finally, I wanted to talk about my lesson plan. For my lesson plan, I decided to focus on AI for a couple of reasons. One, it's a hot topic in our building. Our middle school teachers and our high school teachers are talking about AI and students cheating and how are we going to handle this and how do we ban it and how do we stop it. And so when AI really first became popular, of course, I dove in because I want to know about new things and I want to stay on the forefront. And I've done several PDs on how teachers can use AI and how they can use it for lesson planning and sub planning and memo writing and all of these great things. But when it came to students using it, I kind of was like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to provide information. And so I've like almost unintentionally been like, they'll figure it out, but they will not figure it out. I know better, especially over the course of this class. If we don't explicitly teach them how to use AI, they are not going to appropriately use it. So this lesson is really about teaching students how to appropriately use AI. I was a middle school teacher before I was an administrator, and so I leaned into a book that I love to teach, which was The Giver. And in this lesson, essentially, just to kind of summarize it really quickly, in this lesson, the students are going to talk about what AI is, talk about how it can be used inappropriately, and then they're going to have an opportunity with the teacher modeling to use something that they've created, so a summary that they have already created of one of the chapters, and then have AI create a summary, and then use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast. And so to be able to use AI to see another perspective and to be able to understand from a different piece, be able to see what you might have missed, what they might have missed, and be able to do some of that deeper understanding, and then summarize it at the end with some conversation about how this is different than cheating and using AI. The teacher has the opportunity to formative assess both the ELA skills and the digital literacy skills, which I think is great because if we're really going to teach digital literacy, it can't be a separate unit. It's got to be embedded into everything we do. So excited for the lesson and excited about our plans for next year because how great would the world be if our students who are digital natives are actually also digitally literate. It could really change the world. We could give them the skills to do anything they want to do. I hope that is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks so much.